Hey everybody, welcome back to Gideon Stuff and welcome to another brand review. Today's brand is Cold Steel. This has been a very highly requested brand and honestly I've been really looking forward to making this video, so let's not waste any more time. I love Cold Steel. Gonna be upfront about it. I love Cold Steel. I'm a fanboy. I'm a Cold Steel fanboy, right? I just am. Cold Steel and I, we've got a long history. We go way back. It's a very long and storied background between me and Cold Steel. And I've got a lot of really, really good memories with a lot of the knives on the table here. And speaking of the knives on the table here, we have every single Cold Steel that I currently have in my collection, that I currently have in my possession is on the table right now. Which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 knives. Pretty proud of that. That's not much compared to some of the Cold Steel collections out there. There's a lot of Cold Steel collectors. Cold Steel has some very, very devoted fans, just like me. And like people like Jimmy Slash, holy cow. He's got an absolutely incredible Cold Steel collection. This here on the table is probably 1/40th of it. Heck, probably even less than that. Incredible collection. I see more Cold Steel collection overviews on Instagram and YouTube and stuff than I think any other brand. And what that tells me is that Cold Steel has a lot of very devoted fans. I'm one of them. And I think Cold Steel has done a lot to earn those fans. They definitely have in my case. And let's go ahead and talk about why I love Cold Steel so much. Cold Steel is a very well-known brand. Even with people outside of the knife world, there are a lot of people that I run into and I get to talk about knives who have at least heard about Cold Steel, probably seen some of the crazy videos. And I know that Cold Steel is really popular. I have a lot of Cold Steel videos on my channel I'm really proud of. But more than just me being proud of them, they're very well enjoyed. If you go to my long form videos and you filter them by popularity, I think 7 or 8 of the 10 most viewed videos on my channel are videos about Cold Steel knives, right? So there's obviously a huge audience for Cold Steel. And I think it's because when I do my Cold Steel reviews, we often do crazy stuff, right?
Oh man. Whew. Oh boy.
We'll cut fruit and chop down trees and slice water bottles and all that kind of stuff. And so maybe that adds to the makes watching those videos funner. But I mean, you gotta click on the video before you see that, right? And I think Cold Steel, they make knives that make people want to click on a video. I mean, in the 80-10 video, we cut up a cowboy boot. That was awesome. That's cool, right? But some Cold Steel knives, you see them in a thumbnail and you're like, yeah, I want to know what the heck is he going to do with that thing, right? Cold Steel knives stand out. And that's one of the first things I like about Cold Steel is that they are just over the top. Sometimes they are way, way over the top. And I love that. I absolutely love that, right? And there's not a whole lot of companies that are bringing things like this to the table. This is a Cold Steel Espada XL. I love this knife. I absolutely love this knife. This knife is incredible. I bring this out and I just kind of handle it and hold it and play with it. Every once in a while, I just take it outside and chop up some water bottles and stuff. It's fun. I just love owning this knife. Do I carry this knife? No. Fuck no. No, I do not carry this knife. But I love just having it because it just brings the biggest smile to my face. I have not reviewed this knife. And that's because I don't know how. I'm kind of scared to try. How do you review a knife like this? Right? Again, this is not something that I carry regularly or really ever. How do you review something like that? This is a heck of a conversation piece, though. Whenever I've got friends over and talking to people, sometimes guys will ask me, "Hey, can I see some knives? Can we look at your knife collection?" Because a lot of people that I know that I do this and stuff. And for example, a while back, some of my roommates, they were having this party, and there's people there that I didn't know, but they'd heard about me, and they said, "Hey, I hear that you're the knife guy. What's that about?" And so when people say stuff like that, this is a knife that I like to show people because it's just goofy. And so I'll go to my room and I'll put this knife in my pocket. I'll come back out and I'll usually go out on the patio away from, crowded rooms. I'll say, "Hey, you want to see something cool?" And of course the answer is always yes. And then you whip that out and it makes a statement, that's for sure. This is one hell of a conversation piece. And like, you show this to someone who's already kind of curious about knives, they think knives are cool, you show them this and they're like, "Oh wow, that is something else. I've never seen anything like that before." And yeah, there's not much like this out there. And so that's one of the things that I love about Cold Steel, is that they're just wild and ridiculous. And sometimes they mix that wild ridiculousness with utility. Like on this Cold Steel Spartan, which I should have a review for coming up soon, hopefully. I've owned this knife for years and never reviewed it for some reason. But this knife here, yeah, this is a very over-the-top knife. I mean, look at this thing. Look at this. It's modeled after a Khopesh or a Khopesh. That's the Egyptian sword. Oh my goodness, it's not a kukri. It's a I'm forgetting the name of that Greek sword right now. But anyways, it's modeled after that. You've got this really wild looking handle, very big, aggressive recurved blade. But this is a knife that I have used and enjoyed quite a bit. And I think that is where Cold Steel has really worked its way into my heart, is through all the use I've got out of it. We're going to go ahead and take this knife off the table. CGRB pyrite buoy, by the way. Actually, oh, it never gets old. It never gets old. Just comparing any knife to the Espada. Never gets old. I love the utility of Cold Steel knives. I have used Cold Steel knives for years and years and years, and I have been so impressed, and they have never let me down. Never. As a lot of you know, I grew up on a cattle ranch. I grew up in the Rocky Mountains, northern New Mexico, and I've worked as a cowboy, fence builder, irrigation digger, all kinds of jobs like that, hunting guide, and Cold Steel has proven to make some of the very best knives for jobs like that. And even outside of working as a cowboy, working in the woods, the camping, hiking, hunting, stuff like that, into my geology career, Cold Steel has made some knives that I rely on, that I can take out into dirty, dusty, bad environments and not worry about my knife. They make knives that I can rely on in any environment. And I think that's a very, very special thing. while we're on this topic, we've got to talk about the SRK. I love this knife so much. In fact, my most viewed long form video is all about this knife. The SRK is just a fantastic, fantastic fixed blade. I don't think you can buy a better fixed blade for the money. This is my second version. My original blacked out version was stolen a few months back out of my truck. I still beat myself up about that. I absolutely, that just drives me nuts. I had retired that knife to be a truck knife, and I regret it so much. I regret it so much because that knife and I had so many memories. I carried that knife for like 3 years out in the woods, cowboying, doing my geology work. I've told several stories about times that I was stranded in the mountains, including one time after flash flood, couldn't get across a river. And that knife was there with me, helping make shelters, helping to get me out of these jams. And it's gone now, and that sucks. That really does suck. But I've got this one, and this one is proving to be just as capable. I love the SRK a whole lot. This is probably one of my most used knives ever. It's a mid-size survival / tactical fixed blade, but it packs a punch. You know, I have just watched some of the videos I've done with this knife. I've chopped down trees, and we've done crazy things with that knife. Love the SRK. And it's things like that that really make me a diehard Cold Steel fan, more than just, oh, they make cool knives, oh, they make, designs that I like. They make knives that I have trusted with my life, and that's not something that I can just shrug off, right? I've heard recently a couple of people complaining about like Cold Steel's customer service. I don't know about that. I've never interacted with their customer service. If it does suck, that does suck. That really does. But, I mean, as far as the products themselves go, I love them a whole lot. A whole lot. All right, guys. So I've been sitting on this Cold Steel brand review video for like a month now. I filmed the main portion of the video like a month ago. But between filming that and now, we had the whole Spartan apocalypse on the channel, right? If you guys have not seen my full review of the Cold Steel Spartan, check it out if you want to know exactly how this happened. So, I said in that video that I was going to be reaching out to Cold Steel, seeing what their customer service was like and things like that. So, this little thing here, not covered by their little warranty thingamabobbin. Not great. They did say this was improper use, because I was honest about what happened. That kind of sucks. I don't really like that a whole lot. I mean, this is the kind of knife that you want to go and do some chopping with. And yes, we are going to be replacing my Spartan soon, I hope. So not fantastic there. I also want to kind of address this whole Spartan issue, this little thing here that happened, and why I'm not actually very cut up about it. Pun. This was a hollow ground blade that was very thin. I mean, I think I've still got a piece of the blade right here. That's like razor thin steel, right? So very, very thin. This thing was not, or that kind of geometry is not ideal for impact cutting, right? It's just not. Hollow grinds are a little bit of a weaker grind. Also, this thing has had pretty excellent edge retention, so I'm guessing that they're doing the heat treat fairly well. And the other thing is this knife held up, like the lock held up strong. Nothing else happened except for that edge that chipped out pretty massively. And again, I was cutting pecan wood, which is super hard. Pecan wood is a hard wood. It's one of the harder North American woods. And I was chopping it with this thing. Normally, when I do chopping with my knives, I'm using aspen or pine or sometimes oak. And of those, oak is the hardest consistently. But yeah, I'm not super upset with this. I don't think this is a indication that Cold Steel's gone to crap since GSM has purchased them or whatever. I don't like seeing that, but it was a pretty extreme test, and the rest of the knife held up fantastic. So, you know what? It's all right in my book. And actually, I just saw, just a second. I forgot there's another Cold Steel that's here in my garage with me. My Magnum Kukri machete. This lives in my garage, but this goes with me camping a lot. I use this kind of in place of a hatchet. And actually, I have a Cold Steel axe somewhere, too. But, yeah. And the other thing that I like about Cold Steel, and this machete kind of reminded me of it, is I feel like you get a lot for your money with Cold Steel. There are some products that Cold Steel has that I consider to be overpriced. I know some people have some issues with some of their pricing for the materials, but with Cold Steel, you're getting impeccable build quality. You're getting really good strength and durability out of a knife. And that is worth paying for, I think. It really is. Getting a knife that's basically bomb-proof, you might pay a little bit more, right? And speaking of their materials, Cold Steel uses a lot of like Austin A. I love that steel. Absolutely love that steel. I've got a couple of videos testing that steel on the channel. Maybe I'll do some more videos on that steel, but I love Austin A. It's a great steel. And especially on some of the knives that Cold Steel puts it on, it makes me really happy. Good stuff. I'm thinking, like, I'm looking at these knives here, and there's so many stories coming to mind. But I don't want to tell them all, because then we'd be here for hours and hours and hours. And honestly, some of these stories have already been told in other videos you can check out. I actually made a video a few years back ranking all my Cold Steel knives. Maybe I should do an update to that. Although, I don't think... Let's see, what's new since that video? The Kudu Light is new. I think the Micro Engage is new. American Lawman is new. And these two. I think that's it. But maybe we'll do an update on that video, but I tell a lot of stories in that video. One thing that I really like about Cold Steel, they make my favorite knife of all time. That is the 8015. I have this one with, I dyed these scales. I have this one with the undyed scales. And then I have a light. And I'm probably going to be ending up with some more of these because I wanted to try out original goat scales, which makes me kind of excited. But I love Andrew Demko designs. Andrew Demko is my favorite knife designer. His stuff just really speaks to me. And I've also got the Formac Scout. Incredible knife. Love that thing so much. I do believe that this and this are also Demko designs. The Recon 1 is an absolutely incredible knife. 8010 Light. Actually, this one's new since that other video. And my original 8010. These are some of my favorite knives of all time. Oh my gosh. Oh, I love the 8010s. These are so cool. And yeah, Cold Steel does an absolutely amazing job. And by the way, the fact that Cold Steel, I like their Cold Steel, their light series. You got the 8010 Light, the 8015 Light. Right here I have my SR1 Light, which is a really cool knife. I think that's really cool. The Formac Scout is kind of the same vein. They offer, more affordable versions of some of their classic designs, but they're not sacrificing any of the build quality. The 8015 Lite is just as solid as the 8015. It's just using lesser materials. And I find that to be really, really awesome. And speaking of materials and the price and stuff, what do the 8015s go for now? Like 150 to 180 bucks? I think that's a fantastic deal for this incredible lock and just a design from one of the all-time greats, in my opinion. I think that's a good deal. And we haven't even touched on locks yet. Cold Steel is really well known for their locking mechanisms, most famously the Triad lock, but recently their Atlas lock, seen here on this Engage. I think that's cool. Cold Steel is definitely a company that is innovating. I love seeing innovation, and I'm all for it. And especially, I think locks are really interesting. It's a very cool part of this hobby, experimenting with different knife locks, getting used to different opening mechanisms, things like that. So I'm a big fan of all kinds of stuff like that. The other thing with Cold Steel is they do offer a lot of variety. A lot of their knives do kind of share the same vibe where they're big, beefy, overbuilt tanks, but not all of them. And in fact, Cold Steel makes some knives that, for example, two knives I really love, the American Lawman and the Code 4. These have that overbuilt, tough, tactical knife DNA, but these are actually, both of these are really dang good just EDC knives. In fact, these are great field knives. I talked about doing field work with my, geology and things like that. These are great pocket knives to have because they're robust, they're durable, they can take a beating, but these are also fairly slicey. Not like a kitchen knife, but these are slicey enough. I've used my Code 4 to prepare meals in the field, and it works really, really well. So I enjoy that a whole lot. Very tough, durable, yet knifey types of knives. Very, very cool. And Cold Steel also has some knives that I would say are straight up EDC knives. So things like this Finn Wolf. This is a very EDC sized knife. Things like their Tough Light. That is a very kind of EDC sized knife. That's a knife that's really built around, your utility cuts, opening packages, cutting. Obviously those knives are very tough. I know a lot of people that use them in roofing material, roofing knives for cutting through all kinds of very rough, hard, fibrous materials, but very EDC sized. A couple of knives that I want to get my hands on from Cold Steel include the Cold Steel Airlight. I think that's a pretty cool looking knife. They've got the Tonto and the drop point versions. Hopefully you guys will see that knife on the channel in the future, as well as the Cold Steel Silver Eye. It's still kind of a big tactical knife, but it's also kind of a fancy Cold Steel almost, which is kind of interesting. And speaking of knives that I want to get my hands on, Cold Steel has a lot of stuff coming up this year, coming out that I think looks really, really cool. Their Swift 3. It's an assisted knife, but I'm really, really interested in that knife. I think that's a really cool looking knife. It has M4 blade steel, the OD green and black, which you guys know I love. That colorway. I like a lot of my gear to have that color style. And the knife itself it looks really good to me, very interesting. I know a lot of people are kind of upset that it's assisted, but I actually think that makes it very interesting. I want to take a look at that. They're also coming out with the, I've heard people calling it the Atlas, it's named after the Atlas lock, but it's also a more EDC sized knife. I want to get my hands on that and test that out. These smaller, more EDC sized Cold Steel knives are very interesting to me nowadays because I'm not working in the woods anymore. Most of the time I'm in town, at the museum, things like that. And I still appreciate the big overbuilt tough knives, right? I still do field work. I still go on adventures and stuff. But, I also want to carry, some cold steels that have maybe a different MO, right? A different intended use. And the Cold Steel Mayhem, very, very interesting knife. I want to get one on the channel. Again, I feel like I'd be in kind of the same situation with the Espada, where I wouldn't know how to review it, but I want to do something with it. I've actually written several scripts for different videos about the Espada, and they're not reviews. They're more spoof videos than anything, but I just haven't had the time or resources to actually produce those videos. So maybe one of these days, hopefully, I'll get a chance to do that. I need like a whole crew here on Gideon Stuff. I need a whole team of actors and people. But I think I'm going to go ahead and try and end this video right here. Like I said, I could go on and on and on forever about Cold Steel. I love Cold Steel. I just love how they make knives that stand out from the crowd. I mean, this Kudu Light this was a $10 knife, but I love this knife because it's a slip joint. But oh my goodness, where are you going to find a slip joint like this? Even the back spring is different. $10. I mean, I think Cold Steel brings a lot of value to the table. I'm just a big fan of this brand. I really, really am. And it probably shows on this channel. I speak very highly of Cold Steel. I don't know if I've ever had a negative Cold Steel review. There's obviously, I've had issues with Cold Steels. Cold Steel pocket clips are terrible. In fact, this Spartan, I think this knife carries worse than just about any other Cold Steel I've ever had. I don't carry this knife with the clip. When I'm carrying this knife, like out in the woods, I just have it in my back pocket, not clipped into the pocket or anything, just sitting in there. So I rail them on that quite a bit. I would like to see them improve their pocket clips. I think they're taking into account the fact that pocket clips kind of suck. They've done some clip redesigns on some recent knives. The clip on the Engage still sucks. It's a very bad clip. And there's other things. And there's obviously some Cold Steel models that I enjoy more than others. And of course, I'm very honest in all my reviews. But I also do really like Cold Steel. I have a soft spot for them. And I think that's one of the reasons why I also try and go the extra mile in my Cold Steel reviews, is because I want to show you guys why I like these knives so much. And I hope that's come across in all the videos that I have made on Cold Steel. Is that it's not that I'm just a blind fanboy. I have used these tools, I've abused these tools, and yeah, in very real circumstances, I have entrusted my literal life to these tools, and they haven't let me down. And I'm eternally grateful for that. I love Cold Steel a whole bunch. If I was going to be stranded on a desert island for the rest of my life and I could only have one knife, it would be a Cold Steel. I really, really enjoy this brand. And like I said, I could tell so many stories about each of these knives, but we would be here forever. And I'm not sure any of you would like to sit through that. But just a great, great company, great products, and I'm looking forward to seeing where they go. And speaking of, I guess we'll address this first. They're owned by GSM now. I still get comments every now and again, people asking whether I think the quality has declined since GSM has bought Cold Steel. And my answer is no, I don't think so. I think they kept all the same factories, but I think GSM has been doing a good job with the brand, at least in my opinion. Maybe I'll get some knives in the future that will change my opinion on that, but as of right now, I think they're doing a great job with the brand. What do I want to end this video on? Actually, I think I want to end this video on what are some knives I think are missing from my Cold Steel collection. Okay, so the Raja, both the 2 and the 3, I love those knives. I had a clone of the Raja 3. That's the bigger one. I had a clone of that knife, which I bought very early in my knife career. Not proud of that, but I want to get both of those knives. I think those are really, really cool. The small Raja too, I think that's a very interesting looking knife, and I always wanted to get one because something about it just makes me feel like it'd be incredible for working on the wrench. Something about that knife just always really spoke to me, and I wanted to get one of those. Um, I had a Cold Steel Voyager Vaquero. I want to get some of the Voyagers. I want to get a full size Vaquero, one of the big ones. I want to get a big crisp one just because of the goofiness. But I want to get one of the large, one of the smaller sized drop point Vaqueros. That was like an incredible knife. I remember when those first came out, I wanted to get one and use in the woods, but I decided to get this knife instead and test the new lock. Man, that was a long time ago. But what else? The Cold Steel Colossus. I've always liked, and I know it's discontinued now, but I've always liked the Cold Steel Colossus. That's a very, very cool one. And we already went over some of the stuff that's coming out, like some of the new stuff that's coming out that I have an eye on. So, yeah. My Cold Steel collection will grow. I guarantee that. So, and honestly, I don't have very many Cold Steel fixed blades. I've got my SRK, this Fin Hawk, machete, and that neck knife that I don't have out here right now, but that's it. I do want to get some of their Bowie knives. You know what? Now might be the time for me to get a Marauder. I might order a Marauder as soon as I turn this video off. I've been saving up a little money for a new knife, and I was just like debating what it should be. Maybe it'll be a Marauder. Anyways, we'll see what I decide to do. In the meantime, I want to hear your guys' thoughts on Cold Steel as a brand. What do you guys think? What is your favorite Gideon Stuff Cold Steel video? And tell me in the comments below what you want to see next. Okay, this is a Cold Steel video. If I don't do some crazy cutting demonstration, I will have failed as a YouTuber and as a Cold Steel enthusiast. So, you guys want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. What? Was that not badass or something? Alright, fine, you babies. Let's get nuts. Big shout out to my channel members right here at the cowboy level. Thank you guys so much for what you do. Really appreciate it. If you want to become a channel member, there's links below. If you enjoyed this video, leave it a like, comment below, and subscribe. I've been Gideon, and I'll see you in the next one. Adios.